My brother, yeah. My brother, yeah. My brother, yeah. My brother, yeah.
Coming in from Inglewood. Coming in from Inglewood.
Hey, how you doing? Welcome back to them Brothers from Inglewood podcast. I'm Hoopy, your host, coming to you live and direct. I want to say thank you for all of your support. Thank you for helping us to monetize our situation. I'm going to ask that you would like, subscribe, share, ring the notification button so that you'll be abreast as to when we're airing fresh and new content. I'm going to introduce an exciting subject. It's really a continual or a sequence to what we discussed on last week, part one, which the topic was actually life after work. And what we were really discussing is, do we have a plan of action? Do we have something set up for us to do after retirement or after some of our children get of a certain age and things of that nature? So I'm gonna just kind of pick up where I left off and kind of ask a few questions as it relates to some of the goals that we may have set or need to set. Okay, number one, in your career, let's just say whatever your vocation is, along with your company or the employer that you work for, setting up, of course, a health plan or health benefits, but also a 401k and some of the other annuities or something that has been, proposed to you. Outside of that, what have you done or what are you doing to establish yourself in case a crisis comes, in case, something happens that will just alter your industry? And I was really alluding to the fact that we need to have a life outside of our jobs and careers. We need a life outside of raising our children. Sometimes our children, they graduate high school, they go off to college, they end up graduating college and maybe staying in that particular city and state where they obtain their undergraduate studies, and then they'll pursue higher learning and obtain a master's degree and sometimes a doctorate. So in the course of them fulfilling their dreams and going after their vision, what are we doing as parents in the meantime? What does our life look like? What has changed? And what is the significance as to what we want to get out of life now that we've raised our children or we're retired from our jobs? And so I just was thinking to myself, after you succeed in those two areas, raising your children and establishing a great career, and now you're going into retirement, what's happening for you? Sometimes we're with our spouse, sometimes we're unfortunately we may be single, maybe our spouse transitioned in death, or maybe divorce happened, but life happened. And so what are we prepared to do? What does that look like for us, going forward? And I guess I'm at an age where a lot of these things are sort of coming into fruition. I'm faced with decisions as to what do I want out of life, and what does life look like for me now that my children are reaching adulthood and are going into the workforce and trying to establish themselves in life. I don't think we ever, as I forestated, retire from parenting, but I do believe that we have to prepare ourselves to take care of ourselves, okay? And when we get to a certain age, things starts to occur in our physical health and even in our mental and emotional state. And so we want to try to balance life by securing something that will move us forward. And my question to you, and please feel free to put something in the comment section and let me know what you think, but also feel free to give me some suggestions as to what I can do along with what I have in place moving forward. And one of the biggest things for me is I would like to establish myself in a way to where I could do world traveling. I would like to go abroad. I would like to travel internationally. I would like to, learn of different cultures, meet different people, and see what the world looks like. I do read a lot, so I have read up on a few places that I would like to go. However, I think it's nothing like a personal experience. So traveling internationally is really high on my list. I would say that was one of my priorities that I have in place. And then also seeing that my children are established in a way to where they experience true independence. And I know, some of us have young adults, others have, really grown adults that might be in their late 30s, early 40s, and they're well on their way, okay? I don't think that we have to feel obligated to take care of them in that sense. I think at that age, life has taken its course, and I think that now it's about advisement or maybe counsel, wise counsel. So those are the two main things for me that's high on my list that I would like to get into and establish myself in a way to where I can travel internationally and also establish something that will aid my young people. I think, college, of course, is a priority, but also making sure that my children have a place to live, something consistent and solid, a few dollars in the bank or in their savings, or something that will grow for them as they begin to think about having families. I already suggested to my sons, which are coming into manhood. I don't consider them both men as of yet, but they're young men, they're young adults, and my oldest will soon be 21. My youngest son will be 18 in a couple of days, actually, and of course my daughter is the youngest, so she's still a teenager. And so I tell them all the time, there is a time and place for extracurricular activities. There's a time and place for dating and courtship and definitely having a family one day, getting married and having a family. But this is an early stage in your life, and I think it's about setting yourself up goal-wise, to be goal-oriented and to prioritize those goals so that you can reach them, that they will be obtainable, and that you can see yourself reaching goal after goal after goal. And so my whole thing with them was to be patient, to be wise, and to make sure that you have a short-term goal and a long-term goal, because at the end of the day, you might have to repeat the process, and that's something that you don't want to do. You want to find mentorship. You want to find someone that's doing what you want to do and doing it at a high level so that you can avoid the pitfalls. Mentoring is very, very important. And so even as a full male adult, right, I still have a mentor. I still have people that I counsel with, and I still bounce information and ideas off of knowledgeable, wise people, male and female. It does not have a specific gender to it, but I do tap into those who have an incredible amount of experience and wisdom, okay? And so these are some very, very important tools that we all should use moving forward, because I don't want to be what they consider someone who has retired. They're waiting on Social Security, they're waiting on pensions to kick in, and they're kind of, living on a fixed income, a budget. Because I think when you look at life, you look at your economics as a set, fixed income, I think you sort of deprive yourself. And I'm not saying live above your means. I'm just saying that you develop a pattern, a thinking pattern, and a thought process that limit you. It restricts you from actually growth and from having more. Okay, so I try not to look at my life in a system to where I can and I can't. I don't even like to use the word can. I tell my children, I've told them since they were old enough to understand, we don't use the word can't, because that is limitation, that's restriction, that's confinement, and that's actually defeat. When you begin to say what you can't do, you become a defeatist. You start to train your thought process to see difficult things and situations, and you automatically resort to saying it's not going to happen. And so I like to think optimistically. I want my children to be optimistic. I want them to be encouraged to pursue. I always want them in high pursuit of their dreams and their goals. So today, as we begin to kind of open up and have the dialogue about life after work, it has a lot to do with us living beyond our vocation, living beyond our career, living beyond our job, living beyond some of the things that are on our calendar that's work related. What do you do even when you leave work? When you leave the office, when you leave the job location, what is life like for you? What do you do? What is the extracurricular thing that you enjoy? Do you read? Do you travel? Do you listen to music? Do you go out? Do you date? Do you sit at home? Do you just watch movies at home? What is life like for you after work? So I don't want to just narrow it down to a particular job that you go to every day, or a job that you go to once a month, or a job that you do from home. I'm not only saying what do you do after your vocation, what do you do when you don't have to work? What do you do when it's time to retire? What do you do when your children move out of the house, move away, move out of state? What is life like for you? Do you immerse yourself in the memories? Do you get on the phone consistently and engage yourself because you don't know how to let go? You don't know how to pretty much allow your children or allow your siblings to kind of fly from the nest, right? A lot of times we look at our children as, birds flying and leaving the nest. But I'm not suggesting that we distance ourselves or disengage in relationship with our loved ones, with our children, with our siblings, with our relatives. I'm just saying that we need to find something for us. I just mentioned two things that I really want to do and that I'm working towards doing those things more often. I don't believe you have to be what we would consider wealthy to enjoy life. Yes, having established economics and having money and a cash flow is great. I think we all need that. We all deserve that. But I don't think that we should limit ourselves because our economic status is not like someone else's. I think that we can find our means within our budget. And I know I mentioned the budget earlier, but what I'm saying is there's some things that can be done. It may not be done as often as someone else. It may not be done as extravagant as someone else, but it's still something that you can do. And I just want to encourage you through this dialogue to find something that you love doing, that you enjoy doing, that will expand your horizons, but also lengthen your life. I think a lot of people work as long as they do, and they stay on their jobs, or they retire from a job and they go get another job because they're afraid if they stop per se working that their life is going to end. We read the statistics of a lifespan after retirement, and it does look dismal, but those are just statistics. And I'm not saying that some of these statistics aren't real, because they are, but that's more theory, or that's sort of like a census in a sense, a consensus, because what happens is a lot of things affect us, and they affect us differently. There are some people who they never go to the doctor. They never get physicals. They never pay attention to the signs that their body is showing them. And a lot of times they go on through life undiagnosed, and then when something happens dramatically, they go to the doctor and boom, everything hits them at once. And I just think that has a lot to do with our education. And I don't mean academia, I mean it has a lot to do with information. We should try to learn our bodies, learn our cycle, our biological and physical cycle as it relates to what our nutrition is like, how much rest do we get, how do we deal with stress, and are some of the jobs or the situations that we're taking on actually too much for us emotionally, mentally, okay? And so once we start to take notice and take care of ourselves, now we're in a better position to live life, whether you're working or whether you're retired. So it's not that people just fade away and transition in death after retiring from their jobs. I think a lot has to do with what they've neglected over time. And that's just one aspect. I don't believe that any of us have control over life and death, but I do believe that we have control over how we live our lives, meaning how we take care of our bodies. Our bodies are the temple of God, okay? A lot of people don't believe in God. A lot of people aren't religious. A lot of people does not subscribe to Christianity and the Holy Bible. I get that. But you still have to take care of your temple. Your body is your temple. A lot of people that I know that are in sports, they consider their body their money maker, right? So athletes consider their bodies to be something that will produce their income or strengthen the longevity of their income. They're only as good as their physical health when you're talking about sports, all sports, from tennis to swimming. Every athlete must take care of their bodies, or their body is going to begin to break down a lot faster than it would over a length of time. Why? Because there are a lot of stress, different forms of stress that we put on our body, from our joints to our tendons to our muscles and all of the above. And so we have to understand we must invest in our lives through gaining knowledge and doing maintenance. And so I believe another aspect of life after work is taking good care of your body and your mind. I like to look at the tripartition of man, which is mind, body, and soul, or some would say mind, body, and spirit. We still have to balance ourselves, balance our lives by taking good care of all three. And it's no different than how we go to a practical job and do our job and take care of those different things that we need to do, simply because we have been employed to do it. Okay, so we should study, we should do research, we should practice, and we should be well-rounded when it comes to doing a particular job. So I wanted to really just talk about this because these are some things that I really hold dear to my life, because I want to be around not only for my children, I want to be around for my children's children, if that makes any sense. So when my children become old enough, I want them to produce children, so I can come over, I can play with the baby, I could babysit, I could do all those different things. I could run around with the baby, I could go to their games, I can just go through the progression of their little lives. And so I really do. I want to be around to see my family expand. I have a lot of aspirations to see my children get married and have wonderful wives, and my daughter one day having a wonderful husband, and just living a really solid life. And so I hope that you'll continue to put suggestions in the chat, that you'll give us information and resources to where we can actually tap into and learn more about financial investments and physical care, health care, wellness. California, I'm here in Southern California. So in Southern California, we're real big on health or wellness. We're real big on nutrition. We have a lot of vegan chefs here, a lot of vegan restaurants. We have a lot of vegan people that, cook and prepare their own food. So these are a lot of great things that, will contribute to a healthy life. Okay, we want to live a healthy, productive life so that we can enjoy ourselves at any time and on any level. Okay, so those two things that I suggested, or those two things that I mentioned about my life after work, are not just restricted to when it's time for me to retire. Honestly, the kind of work that I do, I've always felt retired. I used to tell my friends when we were in grade school, I told them when we got into high school, I wanted to be pretty much a professional athlete. I wanted to, of course, obtain a degree so that I would own my own business. I always wanted to be an entrepreneur. I fulfilled that because I started entrepreneurship really early. I believe I started entrepreneurship in my late teens, 19, 20 years old. I was already on a career path in entrepreneurship. So I fulfilled that. I'm still an entrepreneur. And then the other thing was I wanted to retire. Watch this. I wanted to retire from work as we know it at the age of 45. At 45, I didn't want to punch a clock. I didn't want to answer to a supervisor. I didn't want to answer to any employer. I wanted to be in a position where I was living life, still being productive, but I didn't want to go to anybody's job. And so those were two goals that I established early in my life. I saw myself doing it. I see myself doing it now. And that's why I say I don't feel like I actually work. I feel retired because I'm not restricted and limited to, and there's nothing wrong with a job. Please believe me. I talk with a good friend of mine all the time. We talk about it all the time. We always talk about how much time we've spent in the sports industry and how we coached and we trained for the love. We wanted to see young people prosper and do well and go off to college. And we poured ourselves into that industry for at least 20 years straight. 20 years straight, we were coaching and training young people. I looked at it as an opportunity to mentor. I looked at it as a privilege to be a part of a sports community because he and I played sports most of our lives. And I think I stopped competing in basketball in men's leagues probably when I was about 49, 50. I think I played a couple of times when I was about 52. I'm 57 now. I can still go out there and run around, but I don't even have the desire to go out there and compete. And it's not because I don't care about the sport anymore. It's just that at this point, I don't really have anything to prove, and I'm not trying to get hurt. I'm not trying to blow my knee or blow an ACL or an MCL, a meniscus. I'm not trying to tear my Achilles. I'm not trying to do any of that because, thank God, I have been able to play since the age. I got into sports when I was about 5 years old. Gymnastics was the first sport my brothers and I were introduced to, and we got into that early. I did that all through elementary, middle school, high school. I used to tell my daughter when she was first born that, I used to do gymnastics. I used to tumble. I used to do backflips. And you know how little kids are. Let me see. I want to see you do it. Do it, Dad. I can do it. I can do it. And I was like saying to myself, I better not try to turn a cartwheel or do a backflip or anything, because I think when my little boys were much younger, I tried to do a flip-flop. A backflip, right? We called it a flip-flop. I'm from the inner city, so we didn't even call gymnastics where I'm from. I'm from the hood, so we called it flipping or tumbling, right? And so I tried to do this. It seemed like my legs stayed on the ground and my upper torso went north. I just felt so, disjointed, right? But I say all that to say that I really believe that life after work is for our enjoyment. It's something that we need to do. It's something that we should do. And looking forward to it, trying to find, the rhythm of balancing, like I said, nutrition, wellness, and things of that nature so that we can last, so that we will be around for our children's children. And so this has been an exciting topic. I'm going to ask you again to like, subscribe, share, ring the notification button so that you will know when we're airing fresh and new content. thank you so much for helping us monetize this situation. I'm going to ask that you would share the platform with others and chime in, give us some feedback. Even when we're not live, put something in there. Let us know what we can do better, what we can talk about more. We're wide open to suggestions as to topics and things that you would like to hear, current events, as well as bringing professionals in to talk about a gamut of different things. So this car is coming to a stop, and it's been fun. It's been great. It's real in the field. And so I am so excited about what we're doing, and I'm looking forward to talking to you soon. Take care. Peace. I'm out.